Hi everyone. This is going to be the third part of the Blender tutorial series, and today we are going to be talking about the panels and stuff like that. And we will probably get through all these today, and might be getting into some modeling and stuff in the next tutorial. I'm not too sure about that just yet, but we are getting there. So here inside of Blender, we've got a number of different panels, and some of these can look very intimidating. Uh, but I assure you, once you get used to them, they aren't really so bad. Uh, but there's a bunch of panels. As you can see over here, there are a bunch of them, and then there are panels inside of panels. So, I mean, it can be a little bit intimidating. Um, so, let's see, which one should we start with? I think we will start over here on this side. And some of you are wondering, this panel over here. Let me press N to pull up this panel over here, and let me turn on my screencast keys real quick, just so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to turn this up to like 45 and this up to like 52 space. It might be a little bit too big, but that's alright for now, for what we need to do. Now, like I said, some of you guys might be wondering, whoa, that's cool how these panels are see-through, and they aren't default like that in Blender. They're solid in Blender. You'll have to go down here where you see your 3D view, this little cube down here, and click on user properties, and you will have to go into it is right here, window draw method, and click on region overlap, and then you should be able to see them see through. Tick back down here, and we will go back to the 3D view, and that's how I got these transparent, these panels transparent. So I'm going to go ahead and press N to close this one on the right, and then we'll be looking over here in this one. And over here, Blender did not used to look like this in the past. I'm glad they brung these tabs in here. It just makes everything easier. And I will have some of these that you guys won't have, like the retopology and the motion tool. These are paid add-ons, and we'll get into more of that later. So, but for now, I won't be going into these because, like I said, they are paid add-ons. So we got your tools. So we got your translate tool, which you can click that and you can move your mesh around, and you can rotate it if you click, and you can rotate it. And by the way, I'm using left click for my select instead of Blender's default right click, because I just couldn't get used to it. So I am left clicking on everything, and then I will right click to get out of that. So if I press, like, say R is for rotate, and I was rotating it around, but this isn't what I wanted to do. I will just right click, and it will stop that that action that you were doing, and it will go back to its previous state. So that's pretty awesome. And then you got your scale, so you could tick on those and scale these if you'd like. You can mirror it if you'd like. What are you doing? Control Z, 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 Z. Alrighty. And then you got your edit. You got duplicate. So you could duplicate if you want. Now we got two of them here. Maybe let me zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see better. You could duplicate linked, which means, let's say, let me control Z that. And let me just do something real quick. So I'm going to press tab and go into edit mode. and then I'm just going to hit U, and then I'm just going to hit Smart UV Project. You don't have to know nothing about this. I'm just going to UV and wrap this real quick. Then I'm going to hit Tab and go back into edit mode, and I'm going to put a material on this, and I want to go to cycles, and I'm just going to put a quick material on this. Let's just I don't know, let's change it to this blue color, and then let's go to settings and then viewport color. I'm going to click on this eyedropper, and just so we can see what color it is. Okay, so if I duplicate this just like that, it will carry over with the material. But here's the thing. If I go back into this one and I press tab and say I want both of these to look alike, and I want to, let's say, move this vertice, so I'm just going to click on that vertice over here, and I'm going to press G to grab, and I'm just going to move it up right here. Say I want it to be like that, but I also want this one to be like this. But let's say that I don't want to go through and have to delete this, because say we have multiple of them, like 10, 20 of them, and we just want to make one change. So I'll just Control Z all that and tab out of edit mode, and then go back here, and then let's click off here, and let's just go ahead, and now we'll go down here and we'll hit duplicate linked. So now these two are linked together. So if I went into tab into edit mode and I grab this vertice here, you'll notice that it's clicked over here, and say I grabbed it and I moved it out, and voila. And then that way, if, like I said, you have 15, 20, 30 of these and you all want them changed, instead of having to go in and having to delete everything, or having to go through and do everything one by one and try to get them matching is virtually impossible. I mean, I guess you can, but anyways, it's just too much work. So that's only if you want to duplicate the linked. Now when you duplicate linked, I'll put this material, I'll put a material on here, and then we'll go back, and I said we'll do like that blue color. Then I'll just go over here and I'll change my, and then you'll see the materials are also linked to this. So duplicating linked is pretty good and pretty awesome if you want to do that. And then just duplicating over, you won't have that. So I can go back into this one and tab and grab, say, this side, press G, pull it out that way, and you see that this one that we just duplicated, it's not carrying over. So that's what duplicated linked means. So let's go ahead and just Control Z all that. Control Z. Alrighty. Go way back there. Okay. And then we got join and then set origin. So let me tab in here, and let me just tick right there. I'm going to right click to move my cursor, and then we're just going to, actually I should have done that in edit mode, and then we'll just put set origin, and then you could go right here, and it's got a few different ones. You could go origin to geometry, origin to 3D cursor, origin to center mass. So I just put tick the origin to 3D cursor, and where I set my 3D cursor, it put the origin right there, and then you can set origin origin to center of the mass, and then it's back into the center. Then you just press Shift C, and it'll bring your 3D cursor back into the middle. Let's see here. Join, Shift D. Now I'm just going to set this right here, and I'm going to take that one. Alright, so I went a little bit too fast there. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate. Then I'm just going to pull it up just a little bit like that. And then with this one selected, I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift and select this one, and then I'm going to hit join. And now these are all one mesh. So if I tab in the edit mode, they are all there. So that's what join is. And then you got smooth shading. So I'm going to go ahead and press X and delete those. I'm going to press Shift A, go to Mesh, and then I am going to add a UV sphere, just like that. And then I am going to press Control 2. That just brings up a subsurf modifier over here. And then if I zoom in here, oops, you can still see vertex marks in this. And if we just tick on smooth shading, boom, they're gone. Everything's all smooth. If we click back on flat, it'll bring that back and it'll just be flat shaded, smooth shading, and boom. That is all gone. We're inside the circle now. Everything's all smooth. And then this cell fracture, that is a add-on. And then we got, I should have went through and unticked my add-ons. But don't worry about the cell fracture for now. Then we got your history bar, which you got your undo, which is basically Control Z. Then you got your redo, which is Shift Control Z in Blender. And then you got your undo history, and then it brings up everything that you've done, kind of like in GIMP or Photoshop. And then you could do repeat last. So if I Shift D that, which duplicates that, and I just repeat last, it'll duplicate it again. And then it'll put it the same distance away, and just keep on going. So that's a pretty handy feature also. And then you got your history, and that's bringing up the history. Okay. Let's move into create. And basically all these tabs are over here is a visual way for you to do, you know, like Shift D to duplicate, or press R to rotate, or, you know, let's see what all we got. We got join, so if I wanted to, I could grab this one and I could set this one in here, and if we press Control J, oops, I gotta shift select the other one, and then press Control J, that joins that. So now those are all one mesh. So that's what the join is. The origin is Shift S, and that brings up all these menus. So that's just all over here if you want to go and mess with everything over here instead of remembering shortcuts, which is pretty helpful, but it makes your workflow a little bit slower, because especially if I press T and I close that, and you're over here in let's go tab and edit mode, and say we'll go Control tab and go to face, and say you're over here, and you know, you're messing with this mesh or something, and you grab it and extrude it along the X or something like that. Oh, not the X. What would it be? The Y. And then just grab on the Y. Actually, let's extrude it. So press E and along the Y. Anyways, and you're working in this mesh, and let's say, I don't know, you want to do something, and instead of remembering a shortcut, you gotta press T, and then you gotta come over here and you gotta find it. Let's say you want to rotate that or something, and then you know, you're gonna have to go right here and mess with everything over here. And you could leave this open if you'd like, but sometimes it gets pretty complicated, especially when you open multiple windows. So anyways, but they are there for you. Now we go to create, and that's basically, this tab right here is basically the same thing as pressing Shift A, and you have your meshes, your empty, your camera, your bone, your curves, your lamp, your text, and your other surface, all this stuff over here. The only thing these Pi menus don't offer is when you have add-ons selected, you have, like, I got a block wall and a floorboard mesh and images as planes, and I also have the window add-on and some pipe joints and all this stuff over here. They're not offered in the Pi menus. But anyways, so you'd have to come over here and mess with that. We'd still have to do that, but they're not offered over here in these either. But this is just another way, you know, to add a cube. And here's another tip for you. Anywhere your 3D cursor is, and we press, let's say, a circle, it's going to add it in that area. So cylinder, it's going to add all that in that area wherever the 3D cursor is at. You could add, this is where you add your lights and stuff like that. And then we got the relations tab. Oh, that's hard to see. And you got, you could create a new group. So we could, let's see, let's go Shift A, and let's add, I don't know, let's add an icosphere. Let's just add a low poly sphere, and let's Shift D, Shift D. Let's just say those three of them, and we want to press, with that one selected, press Shift, select this one, and then you can create a new group, and then you have the name down here, and we could just name it Ico, just like that. And so now you see these are all highlighted in green, so you just created a group, and we can Control Z that, and you can press Control G, and that's the shortcut for doing the group. You could, let's see, I don't know, Shift A, let's add, I don't know, let's add a cube, and just bring that up, and then it's selected. We could add that to the active group. Oops, add to selective. What? Add selected to active group. Yeah, you sucker. Anyways, for some reason that's not working. Anyways, you could just go back and you have that select and press Control G, and it'll become part of that group. You could go ahead and click this and remove it from the group. Yep. You could link the object data, which is, we click here, let's Control Z that because we don't have any object data to link to it. We could link that data, so you see that was a cube. So what I did was I shift selected on this icosphere, and then I just hit link data, and now you see it's a icosphere. So that's a way of changing something to something else. And let's see, make it a single user. Selected objects, so now it's singled out. And then let's go to the animation tab. We have these other two. We'll get into those a little bit later on. You don't really have to worry about these right now. We got your animation, which is keyframes. We'll start at 0, and we're selected on this. We'll just insert a keyframe, and we'll just do location, and then we'll just grab this along the x-axis and move that over here, and we'll move the timeline, let's say to 20. Sorry, we'll move it to 20, and then we'll grab this and move it to the x over here, and then we'll insert another keyframe location, and we'll set the end to, I don't know, 25, and then we can move the timeline down, and then you'll just see it just moves. So that's an easy way to set the keyframes. Pause that. You can remove keyframes. You calculate motion paths. We'll get into all this. We could bake in action. This is another add-on. You got your physics for your rigid body and stuff. We don't need to get into that right now. And then you got a grease pencil. So it's coming here, and you can press this for draw, and I'm just holding down shift, and you can see I drew. You can do a line, and then just like that. You can erase that line, poly right there, there, So you could draw on polys, to there, to there, enter, and then like I said, you can bring up your erase tool and erase all this. And if you press N, you'll see you have the same options right here for the grease pencil. And I'll just hit X because I don't want any right there. And you got your navigation. You could click this and you'll view from your camera, untick it. You got your perspective view, orthographic view. You could go to front, back, right, top, left, bottom, just like you can do, like I showed you guys in the pie. So you got your top, and so on and so forth. And the motion tool, this is a pretty cool tool. I'm actually still messing with this right now. It is a paid add-on. You guys, I will show you where to get the paid add-ons and stuff like that here. Here, maybe we'll do some of that in the next tutorial. But if you want to Google Blender Motion Tool, you'll find it. I think it's $50. Then you got your retopology. You got the poly strips and the contour. I think the poly. One of these is $49.99. The other one's like $59.99. So they're kind of expensive, but well, actually, they are expensive, but they're pretty cool and they help on retopology. We'll get into this later. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and get into the paid add-ons because, like I said, some of them are kind of expensive. But anyways, so that's it for this tab over here, and you can just press T to close it out, and then we'll go into this tab. Press N, and we'll scroll all the way up here, and you can see that we got our location, which you on your X, your Y, your Z. Same for the rotation and your scale. Let's see, so you got your grease pencil over here. You click and make a new layer, and you got your draw with your cursor, view, surface, stroke, and all that. So like I said, if you go over to T, and then you got your grease pencil over here, you can use this to do your line with and stuff like that. The shortcut for it is D and left mouse. You got your line, it's Control D left mouse, and then this one for the poly is Control D right mouse, and then this one's D right mouse. And over here is where the new layers, making new layers and stuff for that, and this is where you delete them and stuff like that. Then you got your view, your camera, you got your lens and stuff like that. 35. I'm going to press 0 to get out of that. See, you could lock your cursor, or lock to cursor for your camera. So there's your cursor, and now you're locked on to that cursor, that 3D cursor right there. So when you pan around, you're panning around that cursor right there. I'm going to untick that though. And then lock to camera view. So, or lock camera to view, I'm sorry. And so I use the lock camera to view a lot because this is how I like moving my camera around. If you don't have this and you move your middle mouse button, you'll get out of the camera. Press circle to go back in the camera. Then you'll have to press this red outline here, you see. You'll have to press G and then Y to move forward, and then G and then Z to move up and down, G and then X, move back and forth, left and right. And I just, it's a pain sometimes. I don't like doing it that way. So I just use this because it's simple enough, and you just move like you normally would move your mouse button. So that is lock camera to the view. And then your clip, let's say we have, let's get out of the camera. Your clipping is as far as you can see. And so let's go ahead and let's get out of there. And let's close the view. Let's close the transform. Got the 3D cursor. So you can move it from here too. And then you could also zero it out and put it back in the middle from here. So the 3D cursor, let me go ahead and delete this plane, X. Let me put the 3D cursor up here, and you see how it moved? So you can move its location and stuff right here if you want to do it that way, but it's easier to right click to move that. And then, like I said, to zero it out, you just go up here and press 0 on everything, and then it's back into the middle. Or you could click back up here and then just press Shift C and it zeroes everything out again. Make sure you don't do Shift C though while you're looking through the camera. Alright, then we got display. You can display all in render outline selected, relationship lines, and then the grid floor. We can turn the grid floor off, relationship lines. So this is display. This is everything that you could see in here. You could give yourself a crap load more lines, and then you could go to 7 and then 5, and then wow, you got lines for days now. Let's put that back to 16, and let's go back to 1, and let's get out of orthographic. Oh, I'm way out here. All right. So that makes your grid floor longer. You got motion tracking tools. We don't need to get into that. Background images. You could tick on that and you could add an image. And I don't know. Let's see. Let's just add a texture in here. I don't know. Anything. Let's add that window. Okay. We open that. And then it's visible from all views. And what that means is if I go to delete all this stuff here, X, delete. Let's go to 1. And let's go to orthographic. You have to be in orthographic mode to see that. So I can see it from this view. So this is pretty cool right here. This is where you want to, how you want to put in your reference images and then to model off of them. If you press 1 on your number keypad, or 3, or 7, so they're visible in all views, or you press Q if you have the pie menus, front, right, left, bottom, top, and that's for all views. Now if you have multiple that you are modeling off of, let's go to 1 front view, so we want that in the front view, and so we'll just go to right here where it says views, and we'll put it on the front, and so on and so forth. And you just go and you close that and you click add another image and open up another image. Let's see, let's say we want to model one of those windows, and this one will be on all views, and we'll just put, we want this on the left. So we got front and then the left view. So front, we have that one, and then on the left view we have that one. So that's how you use those. And that's pretty much it. So we'll press N to close. Actually, we'll press N, and all you do to get rid of the background images is just tick on this X, and then turn off background images, and then close this. Press N to close that, and then press 5 to go back into perspective view. And I'm going to box select this. I'm going to tab object mode, X, delete, and Shift C to get the cursor back in the middle. And alrighty, so over here, this one is your scene. This is just kind of like in Photoshop or GIMP. This is your layers over here. So we got the lamp, Then inside there you got your lamp, clouds, cloud mesh, press in. So we got our render layers, our world, our camera. These are our layer panels. And then over here, this one with the camera is your render layers. Go ahead and move that back up. And we got, or this is your render panel, I'm sorry, with all your render settings. This is your render layers. This is your scene data. This is for where all your scene properties are. This is your world properties, which your world is everything. This is your object data, your constraints. This is where, like, if I'm ticked on the light right now, this is the light properties. This would, if I clicked on the camera, this would be the camera properties. If I clicked over here, this would lead you to your vertex groups and your shape keys and all that. We will get into that. Then you got your materials panel. This is where you add materials. This is a texture panel. This is where you would add some different textures. It works different in Blender render than it does in Cycles, and I will go into that in a later tutorial. This is your particle settings, and this is where you have, this is your physics tab, and you got your soft body, your fluid, smoke, rigid body, constraint, force field, collision, cloth, and dynamic paint, and all that. We will get into all that. Down here is your timeline. You can see it, and you can move your timeline with, if you right click to move it. You got your play and your forward and stuff like that down here. This is what layer in the timeline, or what frame, I'm sorry, in the timeline you're on. So 1. We got it ended at 25 frames, but you could go up to 250 frames, or well, you could go up to whatever you want, but we'll just put that to 250. So that's where it ends. This is where tells you where your marker's at. So that's 68. You could also use this to go back to frame 1. This is for automatic keying, and you got your other options. You got your playback options, your frame options, your marker options, and then the view options. And you could also change this panel down here if you'd like, but we're not going to do that. For this panel down here, you got your object mode. This changes your modes for you instead of using shortcut keys. This is your viewport shading. This is where you have about your pivot point. Oops, we don't want to take that. This is where you could turn on or off some things. We could go ahead, and if you hold down shift and tick them all, you'll see that you'll have all options. So you'll have your rotate, your scale, and your transform. But we don't want to do that. We just want that one. This is your transform orientations. This is your layers panel down here. So your layers panel down here. You get 20 layers, so that should be more than enough. And if you need more than that, then you need to make a different scene. But we'll go into more of that. Use scenes active camera. This is your proportional editing. Turn that on. This is for linking. This is to render in OpenGL and render animation in OpenGL, and pop up your search menu, which you press spacebar to do. Then you got all your object. You got we don't want the motion tools. You got your convert to, and it gives you, for a lot of these, all the shortcut keys they got for them. There's quite a lot. This is where you add stuff, different select options and different view options. Up here you have your file where you can save and open and link and import and export. You got your renders tab here. Like I said, you can do OpenGL if you'd like. You can play rendered animation. render frames using an external player. This is for using an external player. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Then we got windows. We could duplicate the window. We could toggle to full screen from here. We save a screenshot if you want. Make a screenshot. Toggle to system console, and then you got your helps. You got a manual, release log, Blender website, Blender eShop, developer community, user community, report a bug. These are all the links. You can use this to pull up your splash screen. So I'm using Blender 2.72b. I didn't want to use any test builds for doing this stuff. And then motion tool docs. Oops, I didn't want to do that. And this is just for the motion tool that I have. Get off here. Alrighty. And then over here, let's see. Then you got your different scenes. Blender's got, these are all ones that Blender's got set up for you, and they're pretty nice. So you got an animation one. You got compositing. You got your default view, which is this one. You got 3D full view. This is for the game and game logic. So this is where you put in some logic for a game and stuff, which they're supposed to be doing some more work on the game engine too. So hopefully they put some much needed updates for the game engine in here. Motion tracking. Scripting. UV editing, and video editing. And I don't like the way this one's set up, and I will show you guys when we get into these parts how to set up this a little bit different to look like oh man, I can't even remember what program that is, but I like that better than I do this layout. But anyways, and then to get back to your regular view, you just go back to default, and here we are. Here's your scene tab. You could just, if you want to create a new scene, like what's going on here, tutorial, I don't know, 1. So this right here is named tutorial 1. We can make a new one, and we can call this, I don't know, 2. And now you see it brung us, we got nothing on the layers, no lights, no cameras, no nothing. Shift A, mesh, I don't know, and icosphere here, and stuff like that. So then we can switch through scenes, and then you could have multiple scenes, like over here, and say, I don't know, you have animation in 1, and you're doing something, blah blah blah, and then you need to go over to scene 2. You got scene 2. You could link scenes in. You could also do markers and stuff for the camera to bounce between scenes and all that kind of good stuff, and we will be getting into that in the future. You could also get rid of this scene just by hitting the X button, and now it's gone. This is how you go through different render engines. So we got Blender Render, which most of the time, if you see any information, it'll be a capital B and a capital I. So for Blender Internal, you got your game engine. So if you're trying to build a game, you need to switch into the game engine, and then it got Cycle Renderer, and Cycles is it's pretty good, and it's getting a whole lot better, and they're finally getting where you can do almost everything you can in the Blender Internal that you can in Cycles. And I think that's pretty much it for these tabs for now. The next tutorial will go into more in-depth detail on all these settings and stuff like that. And let's see. And then we can start working our way into this type of stuff. And then, like I said, after we get through all this basic learning stuff in the next tutorial or so, we could start getting into modeling and stuff like that, and doing some of the fun stuff. And like I said, I'm going to try to release these. I'm trying to release one every day. If I can't do it every day, it's because, you know, I work a full-time job besides this, and I had to work late or something that day, and I couldn't get off in time to release a video. So it'd be every other day, but I'm going to try to do it every day if I can. Now, mind you, I'm, like I said, working a full-time job too, so it gets kind of hard for me and really busy and stuff. Plus, I have um, kids and stuff. So, alrighty, I think that's it for today. So please like and subscribe for tons more tutorials, and have a great day. Thank you.